okay, I thought I'll do something a little different for a change. Even I've been promising to do something like this, and gonna do a film review. And this is of Fast 9, or in the UK, Fast and the Furious 9. So because we're too stupid enough not to know that Fast 9 is the 9th movie in the franchise. Now, I'm going to start off with the positives of the actual film, and then maybe a little what the film was about, but without spoiling too much, just in case anybody hasn't seen it. Now, obviously, we know after the previous films, we already know that Paul Walker's not in it anymore. He's been in anymore, and then last time we saw him was in Fast 7, where they already used some of his CGI doubles and whatever footage they ever had left. Obviously, this basic is that now everyone's living their own life, and you got Dom and his girl, and then his son, and they're living their life, keeping a low profile, until the gang get back together because they get a mysterious message from Mr. Nobody, played by Kurt Russell, about a package being missing, and they need to get to the package before some of the bad guys do. And obviously that happens, and then we're introduced, or we later find out that Dom has a brother, which nobody knew about. Obviously Mia did, because obviously Dom and her are brother and sister, so we don't talk about it. So then we get a flashback on the younger days with them and their father, and obviously we know the story behind Dom and his troubled stuff, how he got into trouble and what happened. And what I do like about this film is that obviously you get more into what happened with stuff between his father, what happened and why it happened, and then it plays out in a way that you think something is something. It plays out in a certain way, but you later find out when the more the pieces are put together, that you find out that everything about Dom thought about his brother and then his father, who he looked up to, everything isn't what it appears to be. So I liked the idea of the fact that obviously we explore more of Dom's origin story, which we only heard about but not necessarily seen it. And the actors that they got to play him at different stages of life were actually great. Obviously John Cena is playing his younger brother, and he was pretty good in it. As we know, he's a wrestler. I don't know if he's still wrestling, and he's got his own series in Peacemaker, and he's been in the Suicide Squad, which the Peacemaker is a spin-off of. So he was pretty good in it. So I like that. We see some cameos from characters from previous other films, characters who we thought that were dead, because in the Fast and the Furious, people can come back for some mysterious reason. Well, it's a Hollywood movie, so anything, they can come up with any old story to bring somebody back or give a character redemption. So I thought that was good. Some of the stunts in the actual movie were actually pretty good and cool. So you can never say, for example, that you're bored when because I think the film is 2 hours and 25 minutes, or 2 hours and 29 minutes if you watch the director's cut version of it. So you already know what you come to expect with the Fast and Furious films, where it's bright colours, the roar of different engines, different cars if you're a car lover, spectacular stunts, humour, which there actually was loads of that. And that's one of the things that I liked about the movies, that you can tell with the actors that the chemistry between the actors is kind of great. It feels kind of genuine. And then from what I've seen outside, you've seen with the actors and actresses outside of it, you really can tell that they've got good chemistry on and off camera, and then they always have this emphasis in all the Fast and Furious movies about them being a family. And it's like, when I see those characters together, whether it's at the end of the film or doing what they're doing, they genuinely do seem like a family, a real family, even though they're not blood. So that part of it's good. I do also like the fact that they've given the female characters a lot more to do, and not just to be shown as eye candy. So they're given their fair share to do, which I think some of the actresses actually did say that's what they wanted. Them more they can get just as good as the men. And I think that part of the movie works. The story is good, so it's pretty decent. And so you kind of get what you're getting, you get what you're getting with your money. Now, the kind of the negative side for me is that what I loved about the Fast and Furious films is that it was that when it comes to the stunts, although obviously they had these stunt drivers and CGI maybe here and there, but for me the only negative thing I had with this film is that what took me out of the film and kind of spoiled it for me is that some of the stuff in it is a bit ludicrous, like if you pardon the pun because he's in it, where cars being slingshotted, people bouncing around, going into outer space. Yes, it does happen, so God knows what we're going to do with the next, because I heard that Fast and Furious 10 has been split into 2 parts. And then for me, that's what kind of ruined it for me, because it kind of takes you out of the movie. It's almost, the one way to describe it is almost too outrageous. And that's what bought it for me now. Obviously, most films, especially when they try to do a trilogy or create a trilogy, they kind of lose steam. And the Fast and Furious films, there's only one and other films where it's got to the, obviously we had Fast and Furious 1, we had Too Fast, Too Furious, which I know a lot of people didn't like. We introduced Tyrese's character in it, and I actually liked it. And then you had Tokyo Drift. Again, for me, I thought that was kind of the weakest one when I first watched it. But over time, it's actually got its own little, it kind of shines in its own kind of little way. So I kind of actually like that one. And also you got Fast and Furious 4. And for me, so you would think by the time it gets to the third film, it would have ran out of steam with most trilogies do it. Aside from Mission Impossible, where it's kind of this franchise and Mission Impossible franchise, I would say they kind of rejuvenated themselves. And for me, went from about Fast and the Furious 4 to about maybe Fast 7. I think that was when, for me, the franchise was more kind of grounded. Obviously, you expect them to use effects here and there, but to me, that's when the movie was much more grounded. And maybe it's just me, but ever since after Fast 7, going on from Fast 8, it's just got a bit too kind of silly for me. As it's all bouncing around, driving around, collapsing bridges, or defying the laws of physics. And then it kind of, I don't know, for me, it kind of just spoils it for me, I'm afraid. So that's why I'm a bit kind of down on it. But if you can, say, switch off your brain for 2.5 hours, then you can find enjoyment. I will say that I can be honest and say that I did not feel bored in watching the film. So, it entertained me for when it did, but you're not kind of gonna remember it. But as I said, I just wish the film had gone back to where it was just how Fast and the Furious 5, 6 and 7 were, where it was just a lot more grounded as a drive movie, where you still had the stunts, but it just felt more real. But it's like now, it just for me, it just doesn't feel real anymore. Now. It just feels almost like you're watching a typical Hollywood, like the Transformer movies, where it's just a bit stupid. So that's what kind of took me out in the movie. But yeah, I mean, I saw it on Sky, so it's part of my package. So I saw it in there, so I didn't have to pay for it. And maybe I will get, because I've got all the films that are set. I haven't got the Hobbs spin-off yet. So with those 2 films, I probably will wait until they get dirt cheap and buy them secondhand, so I can at least say I've completed my collection. But I don't know if I would necessarily recommend buying it full price. I would say maybe if you can rent it or you see it on TV, then it's kind of worth it. But don't go in. But you will, for me, get some kind of enjoyment out of it. But for me, it's just got a bit too silly at the moment. So God knows what they're going to do with Fast and the Furious 10, or Fast 10 as it's going to be called, part 1 and then part 2. So yeah, I mean, that's my take on it. What I will say is that not start because make it sound like you go to the cinema. There is a post-credit scene which involves certain characters, and I will say Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, it's to kind of to do with that and certain characters, and that post-credit scene that happened, that post-credits and after the credits, that was very, very interesting. So it's going to be interesting on how they will follow that up in the next movies, in the next set of movies. So yeah, that's kind of my review of Fast and the Furious, or Fast 9 as it's called. So I'm not going to give it a score, but I would say if you don't want to buy it, I would say just rent it. Or if you see it, or you can see, if you get it for free on a service, just watch it. But again, if it was possible, I mean, again, I am a massive fan of them because I've owned all of them except for this Fast 9 and Hobbs, that the Hobbs one. I don't own those ones. So because the Hobbs one I saw in the cinema. So yeah, I mean, this was a film that came out in 2021 because obviously it was delayed because of COVID. So it was meant to come out earlier, but obviously because of that. So you know, I got to sit on Sky, so I can't really kind of complain. So as I said, I mean, I hope people enjoy this review. You probably might see some more if I actually ever feel like doing any more of it. But as I saw the film a couple 2 nights ago, it's fresh in my mind already. And again, I don't want to sit there and spoil too much of what's going on with it in case you haven't seen it. But yeah, I don't want to feel like I'm being a down on it because because I love cars, and I did like the Fast and Furious, but as I said, the earlier movies after 8 to me, just after Fast 9, after Fast 8, for me it's just got a bit ridiculous now. I just really wish they would just sit there and keep it. You can still have spectacular stunts because other movies have done that, but just don't sit there and have to go over the top and make it too silly. I know that it's still there's some people that actually still enjoy that kind of thing, but for me, it just defying the laws of physics, to me, it just takes it out of it. So again, I hope people sit there and like this video, and I'll try and do more if that's what people want or they enjoy it. So anyway, feel free to like, to share this video, because that does help people find me. And if you already haven't, please feel free to sub to my channel. And I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care, bye for now, stay safe, and looking at this weather, stay dry. Bye for now.